Do you know what makes a good episode of Doctor Who? It's the little patings. Hello, my name is Rob Edwards and welcome back to my Doctor Who reviews. And today we're talking about episode 5 of season 11, the Tsuranga Conundrum. And I'm not saying that name again for the rest of the episode. I'm going to talk about the things I liked, things that didn't land for me, and we're going to have a talk generally about the episode. On balance, I think actually there were only a couple of elements which didn't really work for me this time round. And on the whole, I am pretty happy with what we got this week. Possibly, I think, the happiest I've been so far this season, because what we got this time was a very traditional episode of Doctor Who. So here's the thing. I recorded a review of the Tsuranga Conundrum this morning. And in it I said that I really enjoyed it. And I did. I had a great time watching that episode. But the more time that passes since watching it, the more I keep thinking that there are problems with the episode. And most of them again are around the plotting and the structure of the story. This pating, represents no threat, really. It's never after the crew. I don't quite understand how that first guy gets trapped and then ejected in the escape pod, since there's nothing that we see in the behaviour of the pating which would suggest it would be capable or interested in laying a trap like that. So that must have been some sort of industrial accident, I guess. But since that's the only thing that we do that is a direct threat to the crew, to the TARDIS team, to the patients, what are we worried about? Okay, it's eating the ship. It could eat the ship. It could destroy the reactor. That could leave them in all sorts of trouble. That's a threat. Except that after being told how dangerous and unstoppable and undefeatable this thing is, everything we try to stop it works. Not one thing that's attempted by the TARDIS team or the crew after the industrial accident which leaves the guy ejected out into space in his escape pod is any problem for the team. The thing eats the sonic screwdriver, and then because the Doctor is going to use the sonic screwdriver later in the plot, unlike everything else the pating eats, it coughs it up again. The companions don't do anything in this episode, really. And the Doctor continues her... I'm enjoying Jodie as the Doctor, but she remains a bit one note for me, a bit playing the scene in one way, whatever the scene requires. If it's the right way for that scene, she's amazing. But a lot of the time it's not, and on those occasions she is less so. So, I still liked this episode. I still enjoy this episode. In fact, while watching it, it's probably my favourite since the season opener. But I'm not sure I'll ever rewatch it. And I'm not sure that I will remember it in a couple of weeks' time. Because it's just filler. Yeah. Weird episode. I'll get back to the rest of the review now. This is me from the future. Bye! Guest cast all did their jobs. I particularly enjoyed the pregnant guy. I thought he was quite funny. And the whole inevitable giving birth scene during the episode was played for laughs, but quite effectively so, I thought. As for the rest of the guest cast, I have instantly forgotten all their names, which is probably not a good sign, but generally inoffensive. Not really compelling, but inoffensive. And the most interesting character for me is, as always, the one that got killed off first. The guy who got lured into the escape pod. I quite liked him. He was doing quite well. But get on to the couple of things which didn't really land for me this episode. And the Pating, while a brilliant concept, I actually really liked it as a concept, they made it just look a little bit too cutesy. I don't know if they're looking to sell toys off of it or I was never, despite the fact they were telling me all these things, and again it's telling not showing, despite the fact they were telling me all these things that were so scary about it, it just looked a bit cute, a little bit silly, and its antics swinging around poles and messing with tubing. I didn't feel the fear. It didn't bring the fear, and you know, I'm a grown adult knowing it's a TV show. I'm not supposed to be terrified by it, but I just feel it needed a little bit more. And the other thing is that, again, we have more time in these episodes to give a bit more breathing room to the story. Why waste it on the junk world? I don't see how this story would have been functionally different if the TARDIS had appeared directly on the ship. Forget the junk world, forget getting blown up by the bomb. If they'd just done a traditional come out of the TARDIS on a ship, ooh, what's going on? Ooh, it's dangerous, we can't leave, these people would die without our help. It gives room for the central plot to play out. I mean, if you've got any ideas, if you want to put something in the comments to tell me why you think that they made that choice to separate them from the TARDIS early on, I don't think it really made a huge difference. I suppose the Pating could have tried to eat the TARDIS, maybe. Anyway, yeah, quick episode from me today. Nothing very much to say about this episode. It was good. It was solid. Is it the most memorable episode of Doctor Who ever? Probably not. Is it the one that I had the most fun with in the moment so far this season? Yeah, it probably is. So I'm going to give... no, I'm not going to give ratings. I give an episode an 8. I have nowhere to go after that. It's a solid episode. Enjoyed it. Thumbs up from me. I'm doing thumbs up now rather than numbers. You see there? Spur of the moment, shift of direction. Fantastic. Brilliant. Alonzi. So there we go. That's my thoughts on this week's episode of Doctor Who. Join me on Friday when I will be doing a follow-up Friday for this episode, which I think might be about Doctor Who episodes set in and around hospitals. Yeah, that could work. If you want to subscribe, brilliant. If you'd like to like this episode, fantastic. If you want to check out more of my Doctor Who content, there's a box there. If you want to check out more about my writing, there's a box there. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Cheers.